I really just have one last poem to read. It's rather a long one, which is why I'm just reading one more. It's an alphabet poem, and I need to explain a tiny bit about it. It's based on Psalm 119 from the Bible. There are 8 lines per stanza. Each line of a stanza begins with the same letter. And it makes use of 2 texts which sort of recirculate throughout the poem. So the first text is from the philosopher Elaine Scarry's work, The Body and Pain, and this is a book where she talks about the importance of human artifacts in the act of, the sort of ongoing project of making the world and as a stay against the forces of destruction. So all kinds of objects, things like everything from clothes pegs and safety pins to books and coats and even poems as artifacts, things that work against those forces of destruction. The second text that the poem makes reference to is a news release from the International Red Cross in 2001. And here they were announcing the publication of their second book of belongings. And this was a photographic catalog of belongings and clothing that were found in the mass graves of Srebrenica, and these were meant to help relatives find their missing loved ones. The poem itself is called Nothing is Lost. A list of artifacts that can be worn or carried. A loss that cannot be recorded in many pages. A notebook cleaned and dried in the sun. Along the edges of the field, in streams and gutters. An archaeology of DNA and scarce belongings. Annotations in the margins. Are in addition to the 1,756 photographs published by the ICRC. Artifact in the moment of its making. Become implicated in each other's sentience. Belong to a woman, this bracelet bright along the bone. Belonging is sinew and syntax. Book of belongings containing photographs of possessions. Bowls, church steeples, and radiators. There comes to be an ongoing interaction. Bring her out of the earth. Bring him into the sun. Bring them. Carried in the pockets of her winter coat, sea glass and stones. Carried out of the earth like a child. Carry him in your arms. Bring her into the sun. Cases of unidentified remains are in addition to the 1,756 photographs. Clay sticks to hem of coat and sleeves. Close eyes, close mouth, closed with quiet words, clothed in a language that cannot stretch so thin. Desire, hunger, touch are not just passively grasped. Diary that records the small hours. Disappeared when the town was overrun in July 1995. Drawn in blue-black ink. Drawn on paper that can remember the precise locations. Drawn out over years that are endured. Dried in the sun. Dried out sticks of words. Earth of roots, seeds, seepage, glitter, eyeglass. Elements oxygen, carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen, calcium. Enter the interior of other persons as the content of perception and emotion. Entered there in the object of perception. Entered there where it must be written. Even a scrap of cloth or DNA as record. Every word collected. Everything is gained, and nothing is lost. Facts of sentience projected outward into the artifact. Fingers of light sifting the leaves. Floral print of a scarf, stitched oxeye, violet, wild carrot. Flowering that comes in the spring. Flowers that are mostly small and white. Forensic experts from the Podrinja Identification Project in Tuzla. Found in several locations. Found in the cracks, these small white flowers. Gained and nothing is lost. Gesture of a hand in conversation. Glint of tools at dusk. Glove with traces of dirt, spores, clay, blood. Grammar to join the scattered words. Grave where you scatter seeds. Grow wildflowers. Grows dark. Has entered into the interior of the other person's seeing. Hat drawn over contours of hair, skin, bone threaded with vein. Hat lined with felt for warmth, having small stitches. Here a hand labored, here in this earth. Hundreds of artifacts worn and carried. Husks. I was this one and no other. Identity card with name and photograph and number. In memory where the timbre of a voice is held. In search of what has been taken. In the moment of its making with loom, press, spool, thread. Ink blooms and clots on the page. Interior facts of sentience projected outward into the artifact in the moment of its making. Interior of other persons as the content of perception and emotion. Jar of small white flowers, jeweled beads of rain, jewelry and other personal effects found on the exhumed bodies. Join beads, shards, words as they slot together. Join stems, join leaves. Journey to these precise locations, just as it was before. Just the rain, berries, stones, and the night. Keep looking, kept in a pocket. Key to open a door, key to sorrow. Kin drawn from marrow. Kindling of the small wrist bones. Kindness where it is found. Known as this one and no other. Labor recalled in each join, seam, stitch. Language paired to the line. Lattice of ribs. Letter with news from a daughter. List of belongings. Lithium, strontium, aluminum, silicon, lead. Looking for their missing loved ones. Lore of those who are missing, that they will one day be found. Made of sand, lime, and soda ash. Marble with a twist of color kept in a pocket. Marked with scuffs and scratches. Materials of earth. Minutes counted. Molybdenum, fluorine, chlorine, iodine. Moment of its making. More than 1,600 persons looking for their missing loved ones. Name inscribed in a notebook. Never meet on this earth. Non omnis moriar. Not alone. Not just the rain, berries, stones, and the night. Notebook cleaned and dried in the sun. Notes in blue-black ink. Nothing is lost. Of those who are missing, offering of words, on this earth, ordered rows. Other person seeing entered there. Oval buttons sewn by hand. Over now. Overrun in July 1995. Pages of photographs. Persons as the content of perception and emotion. Persons looking for their missing loved ones. Phosphorescence you lifted from the sea in strings of light. Phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, sodium, magnesium. Photograph of a woman on the shore. Protocols for lymphocyte separation and inoculation. Published its second book of belongings. Quadratic equation written on a scrap of paper. Quarrel that will never end. Quell hope, quell sorrow. Query sent on official paper. Quest for those who are missing. Questions you keep asking. Quiet as breath. Quietness. Rain, berries, stones in the night. Rain that began to fall when we first met. Related to the Srebrenica missing. Ring engraved with initials. Risen from wet earth. Rituals to join together and to release the dead. Roots grow. Rots now. Saturated ground. Second book of belongings containing photographs of possessions. Seeing is seeing of X. Sentience projected outward into the artifact in the moment of its making. Shoe with traces of mud and clay. Signs in the broken earth, the scattering of leaves. Silence when we once talked. Silent this night. T-shirt put on without thought one morning. Taken without warning. Tell me how it was when we first met. The last time I saw you. The rain, berries, stones, and the night. To date, 139 objects concerning 64 cases have been recognized in the new book. To join together and to release the dead. Transformation of a weapon into a tool, everything is gained and nothing is lost. Umbrella with torn skin. Under a deluge of rain, the muddy field. Under the belief they will one day be found. Understand that you are not forgotten. Unidentified remains and are in addition to the 1,756 photographs published. Unless you come to me in a dream, until I come to you. Until then. Vacant field, vastness of time, vein of words chiseled out, vest made of cotton, view of dried grasses and wildflowers, the horizon's blue line, vigil at dusk, vigilance, voice heard at the edges of sleep. We shall never meet again in this world. Weapon into a tool, everything is gained and nothing is lost. Where they will be found, which is part of the Missing Persons Institute, will start the procedure. Who disappeared when the town was overrun in July 1995? Wildflowers in the field. Wristwatch to measure the hours. Write this down. X has entered into the interior of the other person's seeing, entered there in the object of perception. X to mark the location where you were found. X stitched along the torn seam. XY karyotype drawn from marrow. Examine every photograph in possession. Exhaustion to overcome. Exist in the book of memory. Exist in the rain, berries, stones, and the night. You are here. You are not forgotten. You are this one and none other. You come to me in a dream. You keep asking. You lifted phosphorescence from the sea in strings of light. You scattered seeds. You were my ground. Zenith bright above the earth where you were found. Zero drift of loss. Zinc, selenium, manganese, cobalt, iron. Zippered jacket to hold in warmth. Zona pellucida gathering light as the embryo forms. Zone of memory. Zone of the missing. Zone of the night. Thank you very much for listening.
Can I make a request that you read Blue-Eyed Boy?